Were you calling the shots, though, Mr. President, ultimately?
As to whether or not I believed it was rigged, oh, sure. It was my decision.
That was former President Donald Trump admitting to directing the effort to overturn the 2020 election. Hey, Jack Smith, I think you got him. Again, that is the very thing that he has been indicted for, not only by special counsel Jack Smith, as I mentioned, but also Georgia Attorney General Fani Willis. So that's more of course, in the RICO case in Georgia, but it's related to trying to overturn the 2020 election in that state. Well, there you go. I mean, that's it. He admitted it. It's over.
Oh my God, he admitted.
But of course it's not. No, it's not over. It's not over until there's, a trial and conviction and, all that stuff. But anyway, this happened during an interview with NBC's Kristen Welker, where you had Donald Trump basically taking ownership of what he had done. So that means he thinks that he's going to get away with it. Of course. Now, I've got more from that interview, including how he felt about some of the advice from his own legal team. Take a look.
The most senior lawyers in your own administration and on your campaign told you that after you'd lost more than 60 legal challenges, that it was over. Why did you ignore them and decide to listen to a new outside group?
Because I didn't respect them.
You'd hired
lawyers,
them.
Sure, but that doesn't mean, you hire them, you never met these people, you get a recommendation, they turn out to be rhinos or they turn out to be not so good. In many cases, I didn't respect them, but I did respect others. I respected many others that said the election was rigged. You know who I listened to myself? I saw what happened. I watched that election and I thought the election was over at 10 o'clock in the evening.
You were listening to your instincts.
My instincts are a big part of it. That's been the thing that's gotten me to where I am, my instincts. But I also listen to people. There are many lawyers. I could give you many books. There are books that are written on how the election was rigged. There are numerous books that were written on how the election was rigged.
Okay, so I'd love it. He said, well, my instincts. I listen to my instincts. That's how I got here. Yeah, four indictments, a failed presidency, 2 impeachments. Wonderful instincts, sir. Nailing it. I mean, that said, he has managed to, at this point, stay out of jail so far. So I guess maybe not as bad. Still, I really wouldn't want to have instincts like Donald Trump, at least in the case of skirting law. But okay, let's break this down. So you heard him say that, look, hey, I don't respect my lawyers. Oh, why don't you respect your lawyers? Well, it's because they happen to tell him the truth instead of what he wanted to hear. That's not exactly a big revelation here. We know this. If you don't agree with Donald Trump and you're a Republican, you're a rhino. And that's because Donald Trump basically has made himself the Republican Party. Like, it's not about a core sense of principles now. It's not about a core set of policy positions. It's now you're only a real Republican if you defend and are backing Donald Trump, which is why you've seen people like Mitt Romney who do not defend Donald Trump, the old school, like, wealthy, I do declare, super, rich. Like, this guy's got a dancing horse, some like very fancy car elevator at his house. The old school business guy, Republican, right? It's not about that anymore. It's about being loyal to Donald Trump. That now is the only measure of if you're a real Republican or not. So that's the only thing that matters is loyalty to Donald Trump. All right, so getting back to what he said here. I listen to my instincts. Well, yeah, certainly, because he didn't listen to any facts. But his instincts are more often than, are more than what he believes is good for him. Let's just say that. And more often wrong. Now, he's got all these supporters, though, out there who don't think he did anything wrong or illegal. And I mean, look, there's a recent August Reuters Ipsos poll that found that only 20% of Republicans said Trump should suspend his campaign, and only 14% said he should have been charged in the January 6th indictment. So they're not taking any of these indictments very seriously if, you're a Republican. And of course, look, that's going to have some pretty big repercussions if Donald Trump ends up making it to the general election, which it seems like he's probably very likely going to be the Republican nominee, because he's polling so far ahead of everyone else. No one can match him on charisma, and of course, when it comes to having essentially a cult following. So that's what's going on here. If that doesn't show you how little Republican voters care about the indictments over things like January 6th and him trying to steal the election, I don't know what else will. So he's got all of that backing, and with all that backing, he comes to the conclusion of, I didn't do anything wrong because I have popular support, because people love me. So he sees that and says, well, hell yeah, I did. I'm going to double down, because he believes it's the only thing that's going to help him. His instinct is to play the crowd. Very, very important. That's what the mainstream media doesn't seem to understand about Trump. And, all this time, they keep asking, why can't people understand? Why can't people see that he's very likely a criminal who's definitely, even if he's not, doesn't rise to the level of criminality, he definitely undermined our institutions, including, people's beliefs in the fairness of elections. Again, at the very least, undermining all of these different institutions. Why can't they see that? Well, because he plays to these people. Like him or not, he is very good at playing people. Just ask Michael Cohen, who literally went to prison for him. That's always been Donald Trump's most dangerous ability, and no one seems to understand this. At least out of mainstream media. They keep wondering, what's going on? Why? No, he gets people to abandon any principles they think they might have in order to serve him, in order to stay loyal to him. Because again, that's what matters. It's not going to matter to some of these people if he admits doing a crime. They will continue to support him even if he is convicted. So at the end of the day, that's really all you need to know about Trump and his supporters going forward, is that they don't care